So for solving this question, you require a knowledge of color blindness. So color blindness is actually taught in the topic of genetics, and it follows Mendelian genetics as such. We will be discussing certain points regarding the type of inheritance pattern of color blindness, so that we can solve this question after this. So color blindness is X-linked recessive. So the inheritance pattern is X-linked recessive. So once it is X-linked recessive, you will say that males are more affected. Right? So males are more affected, and mostly the females are carriers. Right? So males are more affected, females are carriers, because females have 2 X chromosomes, males have only 1 X chromosome. So if I just write XY, this is a male, and to denote that this person is having an X-linked recessive trait, I will be marking it as XCY, C which stands for the gene which is responsible for color blindness. Now since this person has only 1 X chromosome, even if that X chromosome, the allele, one allele is small c, that is allele is affected allele. On Y chromosome you do not have that allele, but on just X chromosome you have one allele which is recessive. This is enough to say that the person is actually suffering from color blindness. So this is a diseased condition, right? In case of females, I will say it as X and X. So here this will be XC and X. So one of the allele is recessive allele, while the other allele is normal allele. So this is a carrier. Now whenever we talk about carrier in any science, like even if it is an infectious etiology or even if it is a genetic condition, this person will not be suffering from color blindness, but she can transmit it to the next generation. And an affected female, which is much more rarer, that is XC and XC. So both the alleles have to be recessive alleles. So that is when the female is deceased. So this is the deceased male and this is the deceased female, right? So that is how we describe the genotype of all these 3 particular persons. Now the question that is normally the question that they normally ask is, when will a female get deceased? When will a female be diagnosed with color blindness? When will she have color blindness? For a female to have color blindness, her father should be colorblind, and second thing, her mother should be at least a carrier. If the mother is colorblind, then definitely she will be having color blindness, but the mother should be at least colorblind, at least a carrier of color blindness, and the father should be definitely colorblind. In that kind of a situation, there is a probability that this female, their progeny will be having color blindness. So this is a very important question. They are asking this question multiple times in the practice test in any institute. So you will be getting that question. It is clearly written in NCERT also. Mark that particular sentence when a female is getting color blindness, when a female is actually expressing a X-linked recessive trait. For a male to express X-linked recessive trait, only one of the allele should be, there is only one allele, and if that allele itself is recessive, that means the male is deceased as such, right? So another important feature is that the trait can skip generation, which is a feature of recessive disease. So whenever you get a pedigree in the question paper in the exam, if the trait is skipping generation, if the deceased persons are absent in a particular generation, but in the next generation again deceased persons are coming up, that means it is a recessive disease. So if it is X-linked recessive, definitely since it is recessive, you will be having that particular trait here, right? And X-linked recessive, male child will not inherit the X chromosome from the father. From father, a male child will inherit only Y chromosome. So a father cannot transmit an X-linked recessive trait to his son. Only a mother can transmit the X-linked recessive trait into his son, and from the father this trait can go into the mother. So from the child, the daughter. So from the father to the daughter, from the daughter to her son. So father to daughter, from daughter to her son. So that is called as the criss-cross inheritance. So this is called as criss-cross inheritance, which is a very, very startling feature, which is a very, very important feature of X-linked recessive trait. So let's proceed to the solution of this particular question. So this is the question that we have. I have taken this from the re-AIPMT exam of 2015. A colorblind man marries a woman with no history of color blindness in her family. So If there is no history of color blindness, then definitely she is not affected and she is not a carrier also. That is what they are meaning by this particular term, that is no history of color blindness in her family. So in her precursors there were no evidence of color blindness. So this lady is as such normal and this man is actually having color blindness. So I will say that the only allele which is present here, that is recessive. Now from here, if I just talk about their progenies, what happens is, see, all the male progenies will be normal because males will not inherit this X chromosome from their father. Male will only inherit this Y chromosome and X chromosome is taken from their mother. So that means this is normal. So this particular males are always normal, and all the males which are born out of these two people will be definitely XY normal as such, isn't it? But all the females will be carriers, XC and X, isn't it? So for formation of a female, this is required, and from here any of this can come out and that forms X, C and X. So this is a carrier female, right? So that is their progeny, but this is a normal male. Now what is the probability of their grandson being colorblind? So we suppose that this person is marrying another person who is normal, so that is XY. This is a normal male and it is this carrier female who is married. So these two people are marrying. Now from here, if I just write their progenies, so this is XCX, right? This is XCY, this is XX, and then it is XY. So these are the four types of genotypes present in their children, and we will just analyze this. So this is a normal male, this is normal male, this is a normal female, right? This is a normal male and this is a normal female. Now this is an affected male, so this is a diseased male, so this is a diseased male and this is a carrier female, right? So we have got everything that we require to solve this question. What is the probability of their grandson? See, they are not asking about the whole progenies over here, no, they are just asking about their grandson. So I will have to take all the males out of this. See, these are the two types of males that can be formed out of this. One is diseased, one is normal. So what is the probability of their grandson being colorblind? So there are two possibilities, either he is colorblind or he is normal. So the probability of their grandson being colorblind will be 50%, that is why it is 0.5. So the correct answer for this question is option 2. So I was just trying to link the all idea about color blindness. I was just trying to link the idea of color blindness to the question that you learned in some other chapter. So we have learned two concepts over here. We have discussed everything with regards to the the trait, that is X-linked recessive trait. Now the most common color blindness is red green color blindness, but if you see our traffic signals, there are red and green colors in that traffic signal. That is why they say that a person who is colorblind should not go and drive a vehicle. That is why license is not supposed to be issued to them, but we know the reality what is happening in India. And another important feature is that once you become a doctor and once you complete your MBBS, then you will have many options to select based on your mark in the next exam, that is NEET PG exam. So there, if you have color blindness, you will not be able to go into a surgical branch, because many instruments which are used in surgery, many much colors, the color of blood and all those things which are required for a person to become the surgeon, those you should not have any difficulty in finding the differences between all those things. If you have any difficulty, it can be even fatal for the patient. So that is why you will say that color blindness is very serious, and the trait is, it is actually it is not a disease as such, it is just a trait. I don't want to call it as a disease, it is a trait with which a person is not able to distinguish between the red and green color, but it has a lot of implication on the social life. So let's proceed to the next question. This is the next question that we have. So this is taken from the exam NEET 2019. So they ask a question, they are asking a question about the structure of cornea as such. So which of these is correct? Cornea is made up of dense connective tissue of elastin and can repair itself. See, in the NCERT they say dense connective tissue, dense connective tissue. So what is this dense connective tissue? It is made up of collagen, not elastin. So that is that knowledge gap that you have once you only read this particular NCERT text. You can not listen to any of these kind of classes. So elastin is not the connective tissue over there, but collagen is the dense connective tissue that the NCERT people are talking about, and can repair itself. So can it repair itself? It can repair itself, but there will be a lot of scarring. So if at all you have an injury on cornea, it will repair itself, but you will be having scars over there, so that will lead to a permanent disability after that. So it can repair itself, okay, but Yes, elastin is not present there. Collagen is the term of the protein which is present over there. Cornea is convex transparent layer which is highly vascularized. See what will happen if it is vascularized. So if this is cornea and this is the inside, you have the iris and pupil, and if this is vascularized, what happens is that you will be having a lot of blood vessels here. This will hinder your vision. You will be not able to see anything outside this because it is full of blood vessels as such. So it is not vascularized, then how will it get the food? How will it get the nourishment? It will get it from the choroid layer and iris, ciliary body. This will be supplying it through the process of diffusion. So it is highly vascularized. This particular statement is actually an absolute false statement. Cornea consists of dense matrix of collagen. Yes, it is collagen. They have mentioned it right over here. So I am agreeing with this statement, and which is the most sensitive part of the eye. Okay, so I am also agreeing with this statement. So let's check out the next option before confirming. Cornea is external, transparent and protective coating layer of the eyeball. Cornea is external, I do agree, it is most external part. It is transparent, otherwise the light will not go through this. Sclera may not be transparent, but yes, cornea is much transparent, through which the light is going to pass. And protective covering of the eyeball. Is it protective covering of eyeball? Yes, it is protective cover, but it is present only on the front side. It is covering the iris area, right? It is only in this area that is going to cover, and it is not a complete covering of the eyeball. That posterior 5/6 of the eyeball is covered by sclera, and only 1/6 of the total eyeball, that is in front of the iris, that area only is covered by cornea. So that is why we are not going with this option. Otherwise the entire concept is almost correct, but we do have the third option which is marked as the right answer. So cornea consists of dense matrix of collagen and it is the most sensitive part of the eye. So I will be marking this option as the correct statement over here. So the answer for this question is option 3. See, so the cornea, even though it is present over here and it is made up of dense connective tissue of collagen, how is it maintaining its transparentness? The cornea is made up of dense connective tissue of collagen, so how is it still being transparent? So that is the question that you can expect in the coming years. One of the features is that it is avascular. There is no blood vessel, so there is nothing to hinder your vision, right? There is no blockage of vision due to vascularity. Second thing is that even though it is made up of dense connective tissue of collagen, it is arranged very systematically in a very symmetrical way, so that even though it is very dense, you will be able to see it. That is the beauty of nature by which they have made, the nature has made cornea as such. It is made up of dense connective tissue of collagen, but it is arranged in such a way that still the collagen is arranged very symmetrically in a linear fashion, that there is no difference between refractive indices of all those structures in the cornea, due to which it is maintaining its transparent nature. So the two reasons by which cornea is transparent at your level, one is that it is avascular, there is no blood vessel. Second, the collagen arrangement is very symmetrical. So with this we come to the end of the discussion of eyeball. So if you like this video, please like, share, comment below in the comment box what you want to tell me about this particular class, and please click the bell icon to receive instant notification whenever I put a new video like this. Thank you.